Good night, Miss. Dominic will be in class, but he's currently working, so he might not be able to answer questions if you call on him, but he wanted to let you know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure, Miss.
Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can. All right, you can click on slideshow. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good night again, everyone. So my case study that was given to me is, should companies embrace social businesses? And what this case study is about is basically about businesses that are turning increasingly to workplace collaboration technologies, which includes tools for internal social networking. Therefore, these tools can promote the business's employees' collaboration and also knowledge sharing, which can help employees make decisions faster, develop more innovative ideas for products and services, and can become more engaged in their work and their businesses. And before, businesses used emails to operate their business by sending and receiving hundreds of emails each day, and are increasingly unable to handle. So implementing and adopting of enterprise social networking depend not only on the capability of the technologies, but also on the organization's culture and the tools which the firm's businesses needs in order to process. So now when the workplace introduced the new tool, social media technologies, as well as other technologies, some employees resist the new tools. They prefer the old ways, which includes emails, because these methods are more familiar and comfortable. Despite the challenges, there are other businesses and workplaces associated with launching an internal social network and turn out successfully. So the three questions that I'm going to answer is identify the management, organization, and technologies factors affecting adoption of internal corporate social network. The second is compare the experiences implementing internal social networks on the organization described in this case. Why were some successful? What role did management play in this process? The third one, should all companies implement internal enterprises social networks? Why or why not? And the fourth, how can we relate this to beliefs? So the first question, management factors that are responsible for impeding adoption for internal corporate social networks are that most of the organizations are ready to provide motivation to their employees. Individuals that use the social networks don't trust the technologies that is significant, and the organizations believe that it decreases work efficiency of workers. It does not help the company's development, and some employees are used to the traditional ways of businesses. Thus, they aren't familiar with social networks, so they do not want to change their ways. The organization factors that are responsible for impeding adoption of internal corporate social networks are that these organizations found that the process of overcoming inactivity of the companies is rather difficult when installing social networks. They also believe that enterprise social networking systems don't assist companies in collaborating. This doesn't have a huge impact on rapid decision making. Furthermore, the technologies factors responsible for impeding adoption of internal corporate social networks are as follows. The contents are available on the network, which have to be up to date, simple, and significant to access. The second one is the social networks have low adoption rates. Therefore, the information technology professional considers their own internal social networks as average or can be below average. Last but not least, the network should be easy enough to use to be able to connect with people and not be very difficult. So the second question is compare the experience implementing internal social networks of two organizations. Describe in this case, why were they successful? What role did management play in this process? So NASA was the first organization to be described in this case. In 2012, NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center made a custom-built enterprise social network, which was called Spacebook. Spacebook was created in order to help small teams in joining forces with larger teams without using emails. Also, Spacebook ended up failing because it was not focused on the users, which didn't consider the organization politics in its design. The second organization was Bayer Material Science. The company made a social collaboration successful and they made the tool easier to access. Also, it demonstrates the value of those tools in pilot projects, employing a reverse mentoring program and training workers to spread know-how of the new social tools. The third question, should all companies implement internal enterprise social networks? Why and why not? Yes. Why? This is because companies often implement enterprise social networking to fill a communication gap within their wider team. Particularly, the businesses with distributed teams can see great benefits from using an enterprise social network. Lastly, it is easier to interact with their colleagues around the world through online communication platform than through phone calls and email. So how can we relate this to Belize? I choose 3 examples. The first example is the Morning's funeral service. They do live events on Facebook to entertain people and other family members. They can attend the funeral service where it is being held. They do designs on coffins and on shirts. They can provide families to run the funeral businesses. Before the pandemic, they often do these, but except the live events, because due to the pandemic, the social distancing, they implement live stream on Facebook so that some families that cannot be able to attend can either can be able to view the funeral service. I also choose there are other businesses that use social networking such as Facebook to sell clothing and other items so they can be continued to run their businesses. Some small businesses used to have their business running before the pandemic in a small place, but since the pandemic has started, they started to do live streams online using through Facebook platforms to sell their clothing so that customers can be able to purchase. And the last social networking that I used is the University of Belize institution. Before, University of Belize offered mostly courses face-to-face, and within the last 2 years, they transferred to online platforms using different modalities, such as Moodle, Zoom, Google Meet, so that they can continue to run their businesses. They also use Facebook to update the latest activities or because some students don't usually use emails, so they prefer Facebook to update students. So this is what I've came up with, and that's it, Miss.
Thank you, Juana. I haven't seen your PowerPoint though, so I'm gonna ask you to just share it with me. Since you're sharing your screen, you can just click on the share button beside slideshow. Either.
I already did, Miss. Shared with one person.
Okay, because I haven't been seeing, well, I haven't seen it in my email. So what you can do after you have stopped sharing, you can add the link to our Google sheet. Oh, that's why you have I Forrester. It should be L Forrester.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, Miss.
Okay, so adding it to the sheet also allows us to give students the same resource so that they can study when it's time to prepare for assessments. All right, thank you for sharing, Juana. So let me ask the class, what were some key takeaways that you got from her presentation? Zolmi, what stood out to you from Juana's presentation?
Hi, good night. I joined in late, Miss. So I just heard the last part where she said that Facebook it can entertain people, but it can also be very useful.
Okay, thank you, Zulmi, for being honest. Let's hear from Annalie.
Miss, how the social media help businesses evolve during the pandemic?
Okay. Do you think that we can benefit from using social media in our businesses today, and how?
Miss, I would say yes, because everybody's using social media, so everybody would know about our business and what we have to offer. So social media right now is like really a thing. So it is very useful, and it will really help our businesses to grow.
Okay, so I think I hear you speaking about survival and us being able to do what other businesses are doing in order to survive. But back in the day, we were told that, social media wasn't something we should have access to in our offices. As a matter of fact, many of our systems administrators would have been advised by management or commanded by management to block social media. For example, Facebook accounts would be blocked, or you couldn't use it on site, even on your personal device. And all these policies we would have to put in as IT personnel would ensure that you couldn't have access to social media because it was seen as a waste of time. It's amazing how the times have changed, and we're seeing that using social media can actually benefit our businesses. So from the class, let me hear what were some of the MIS components. I want to hear what were the people components, what were the technology components, and what were the organization. Okay, Shanika, do you remember any of those from her presentation just now?
Good night, Miss. If I can add.
Sure.
I think one of the people components that she mentioned was the fact that when it comes to the collaboration part, in these times you have some people who aren't willing or not familiar with the social media aspect. So it would make it difficult for them to adjust to that part of it.
That's a very good point you made right there. Whenever we have new technology coming into any organization or even to the wider public, there will be some persons who are not ready to adapt to the change. So you have those who are eager to try the new technology or try the new social media platforms, but then there are those who are either reluctant or very uncomfortable using it because it might be difficult for them to use. So like you mentioned, that's one of the things that needed to be considered. All right, Juana, thank you for sharing your presentation with us tonight. Okay, one person didn't get to present. She did submit her assignment on time, but I realized that she hasn't presented it yet, and that's Shanley. So Shanley, you can go ahead and share your presentation as well.
Yes, Miss, that is true. I am using a tablet, Miss. Let me quickly get my laptop, Miss, and do it on the laptop.
I'll do the attendance while you get your laptop.
Okay, 1 minute, thank you.
Tilicha,
Here, Miss.
Shanice. Shanice isn't here. Juana, well, I know you're here. Tiana.
Present.
Daniel.
Present.
Vonetta.
Present, Miss.
Dominique is late, right? Absent.
Evening, Miss. Can you
Miss,
hear
he's
me?
coming in and coming out because of his work.
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, sorry, Miss. It rain hard yet I call you and my net not so good. My friend telling me that's how you call my name.
No, that was Shan. Oh yes, I called you earlier to share.
Sorry, I made it try talk, but it rain hard that call you right now, so everything just my thing to go in and out.
Okay. Yeah, it's looking to rain up this side too. Same Kayo district. Karen,
Here, Miss.
Keisha,
Here, Miss.
Martha,
Here.
Shanika, well, I know you're here. Zolmi,
Here.
Natasha,
Here.
Diona,
Here, Miss.
Gabriel,
Here, Miss.
Darla,
Here.
Jalen,
Here.
Annalie.
Here, Miss.
Okay. All right. So
Miss, sorry, Miss. Good night. Miss, I represent Shanice.
oh, I was just about to submit this thing. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Shanice. All right. So the floor is yours to present, my dear.
Right now, Miss, 1 second. I'm already here. Where do I go for this? Oh, Miss, I'm just trying to figure out how to share my screen. I don't know how to do that.
On Zoom, at the bottom of the screen, where it has your microphone and the camera, on that same strip, you should see a little icon that says share screen. It has an arrow pointing up. Yeah, you could click on that, and then it's going to show you the different screens that you have, and you just choose the one you want to share.
This video already. 1 minute. Miss, I'll take a picture and then I send it into my group chat, Miss, so then they can see that, find the option that you're saying, Miss.
All right, I'll share it for you. Let me see. I'm just going to open it here.
Okay.
And then you can go ahead and present. Just a minute.
Okay, thanks. That's it, miss.
Okay, you can begin.
Okay, good night, everyone. My case study is on Deutsche Bank. So about my case study, right here, I'm briefly gonna explain to you what my case study is about. As you guys can see, it has that. Sorry, so my case study is in reference to Deutsche Bank, which was founded in the year of 1870. This is one of the world's top financial companies with about 2,425 branches worldwide. And in the year of 2008, the banks had survived a crisis that was happening at the time. And they were trying to get, basically, they were trying to get themselves situated, but they were not able to do so due to the systematic type of bank that they had. They did not have an advanced systematic. They actually had like a very old one. Okay, so they started having issues of incomplete work. They also had failure of proper supervision and loss of data. The bank then continued to have more challenges along the way, and the managers, they did not know how to get their work situated, etc. Along the way, I'll also tell you guys more about the case study. Next page, miss. Okay, so my first case study question was to identify the problems described in the case study, what management, organization, and technology factors contributed to this problem. So the problem described in the case study of Deutsche Bank is that they are struggling with systemic changes in the banking industry, which includes recent regulatory changes. In addition, they fail to properly supervise employees responsible for swap data reporting due to system outage, which caused a shortage of data and lacked an adequate business continuity and disaster recovery plan. Furthermore, factors that contributed to management problems were issues related to communications because the effort and cost required for this integration, including coordinating across management teams, were too great. Organizational factors that contribute to this problem is the lack of creativity and not having an open mind when it comes to working effectively and efficiently towards the success of the company. Lastly, the technological factor that also contributed to this problem is a major one due to the fact that they had outdated system and software that were not compatible for the amount of work and companies that they had. Information was not easily shared due to the antique legacy system, and attempts to recover missing data was unsuccessful since there are continuous issues. Next page. Question number 2 was, what was the role of information technology at Deutsche Bank? How was IT related to the bank's operational efficiency, decision-making capability, and business strategy? And that was that the role of information technology was to offer better service to its customers in a secure, reliable, and affordable manner, and sustain competitive advantage over other banks. Financially, it also provides efficiency and accuracy in daily operations, which allow the bank to have reliable techniques for control risk and helps with the maintaining, updating, and security data of the client. IT then related to the bank's operational efficiency, decision-making capability, and business strategy, because with the economy growing, they needed to upgrade their softwares along with employees, which then they had to control the cost, and they had to also fire some employees as well. And with the growth, along came the changes of position, as I just mentioned. They also upgraded their IT and enhanced their data. They were different strategies that implemented to improve this business, first beginning with improving the relationship with its customers and improve their overall business by providing control framework and competitive differentiation. The third question is, why was Deutsche Bank using technology efficiency effectively to pursue its business strategy? So, while reading this case study, I believe that Deutsche Bank has not been using technology effectively to pursue its business because in the case study paragraph 6, they stated that the US regulatory had identified Dutch Bank's antiquated technology as one reason why the bank was not able to provide the correct information from running its business properly and responding to regulators. Poor information system may have also contributed to the 2008 financial crisis. Therefore, this also explained that there was no growth in technology, no structure, and the people working together had a lack of communication and the technology was not efficient. Last question, I think. What solution for Dutch Bank was proposed and how effective do I believe it will be? So the solution that was proposed in a case study for Dutch Bank was that there was basically, so this is based on a scenario, and that's why we see the name John Cryant. So John Cryant was appointed as a CEO. He tried to implement changes such as reducing cost, improving efficiency, laying off employees, and trying to standardize the system, and also eliminating the antiquated softwares and enhancing data. In addition, he also appointed a person named Kim Hammonds as COO to oversee in re-engineering the bank's information system and operation. The bank also decided to withdraw from high-risk clients relationship, which improved the framework and automating manual reconciliation and much more. There were plenty solutions that were made. Nonetheless, I do believe that those were great in improving the bank efficiency and technology, which made the company become more efficient and organized, along with building a relationship because upgrading from softwares and securities and improving its technology will attract customers to the business and provide a longer stability. So the last one is, how does it relate to Belize and its Belizean context? Well, for me, when I thought about not having an efficient technology, and since now everything is technology and having a good system, I thought about the Belize immigration, because then in this case, there are a lot of people. I would compare this case study in a technological aspect in the Belize government system, because they need to improve their operations by integrating more powerful computers and more robust data entry system to allow for faster workflow and better management of large data files. In addition, in the governmental institution, there's a lack of information and many missing data that cannot be replaced. For example, in the immigration section, one must wait a long line to be called after hours, when there could be better improvements of our technological system being used and a bit more organized, and implementing a better structure to work efficiently. And one must have to have great communication skill internally with the staff and externally with their customers as well, with their clients. And although the governmental system is not a bank, it could still be related to Dutch Bank, because there has been many flaws within the company, despite the fact that Belize has just 2 immigration establishments. They face many technological issues, and many Belizeans are tired for waiting on a long line. Done this. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Shanley. So for you, Shanley, what was the most significant thing that you learned from this exercise, this case study?
The most significant thing I learned about the case study, Miss, is that with the growth of the community, how you call it, with the growth of this era now, Miss, we have been using technology more and more, and compared to back then, whereby we did not really use technology, and now technology has become a big part of our lives. Therefore, it also helps us with a lot of like work that we do now. So everything that we do in our daily lives is about mostly technology. So we go to work, everything we enter is in a system, and try to be more systematically.
Okay. So for the class now, Shanily mentioned that in her case study, coordinating across teams was one of the things that the business needed to be able to do, and the information system needed to support this coordination across teams. In our businesses today, how does coordination across teams contribute to the success of our businesses or our companies? Can you think of how this would contribute to success of our businesses and give an example?
Miss, well, I'm not sure if I fully understand just now, but it could be in terms of decision making. Once a meeting is well coordinated, they're able to, talk, discuss, come to good conclusion, making decision making easier. And then in that case, they allow employees to give input with each other. And when they give input, they feel recognized, and that could be a form of motivation. And that would then improve the operational department of a business.
Okay, so you have a point there, and it goes right back to communication. So also to coordinate, we're looking at the business processes as well. Since we're in chapter 2, I know this was a chapter 1 case study, but when you look at the different units that we have in our businesses, we must be able to coordinate so that clients receive their products on time. If we are giving a service, that the service is received and the client gets what they paid for. For example, these classes that we have, there are many business processes that we had to go through in order to have these classes. First of all, you had to register as a student. You had to enroll into the section that you wanted to be assigned to. Then we have a scheduling component. We had to ensure that the class that you registered for didn't conflict with other classes that you already have. So there are many different units working behind the scene to ensure that you could have this class tonight. We also had persons working from ODL to make sure that us as teachers had access to the correct students. When I was given this class, I was having some issues with ODL because they were overwhelmed. The staff, they're doing their best, so I can't be upset with them. But they hadn't given me access to my students as yet. So I knew you were in the class, but I didn't see you there. So it took a while and a lot of patience, but eventually they came through. And again, what allowed them to come through is coordination. So we had to be calling different persons to ensure that the right people were assigned to the right classes. And even a few students can attest to being assigned to the wrong group. So they might have been in my group, but they were in Dr. Ryan's class, and then that would affect us with grades. So I might be seeing a student that doesn't belong in my group, but belongs in another group. So all of this coordination allows us to be able to do well and deliver good services to our clients, good products and services to our clients. Okay, from the class, let me hear two persons just give our presenters some feedback on your insights on their present or how you feel about their presentation. All right, Jalen.
I think how she relate Belize immigration to her case study may very on point, just because the immigration system in Belize is very bad compared to other places, and yeah, all that.
Okay, Jalen. Let's ask Vanetta Karen, I saw you unmute. You can go ahead.
I just wanted to share that she took me way back to when I got my first phone. And knowing now that you can have your phone access to the internet, share your screens, all of that, it has been a very good improvement in technology, even though that we still have a lot to catch up on compared to other countries, no? And another example that came to mind was the Vital Statistics Office, because they have very valuable information that really needs to be saved and keep up to date. So whenever you go there, you don't have that difficulty to get your stuff ready, no? Especially for people that has passed away or stuff like that. And that's just how I wanted to share that. Those things came to mind.
Thank you for sharing that. And I like that you brought up Vital Statistics. I don't know how many of you have used the service before, but we should know the stories that come from that department. And again, we're seeing how coordinating can help in a situation like Vital Statistics. For example, when you give your information to the clerk or whoever is attending to you, they have to enter that information into a system so that somebody can, put it on the relevant documents and cross-check and whatnot. But sometimes, somewhere in that process, your name changes. I give God thanks that my name has remained the same, the spelling is correct, everything is correct, and I haven't had to take a document back for them to replace it. But there are many persons who are stuck with names that they were not given at birth, because somebody was very creative and said, I didn't like that name your parents gave you, so I'm going to change it. But we see that coordination comes into play. We needed somebody to verify, okay, what the client gave me, let's make sure that this is what we have on the document. And again, they have lots of documents that they're processing on a daily and consistent basis. They're serving the entire country of Belize, and we only have one office. You guys see a problem with that?
A big one.
Exactly. You imagine somebody coming from PG and you get up early they could get up early in the morning, go all the way to Vital Stats to be told, oh, I'm sorry, we don't do that today, come back tomorrow. I don't know. I really see a problem with it. And I believe that it's something we need to address, as a nation. I know it's not a business, but we can still apply some of these principles in government systems, because they do function as business entities to some extent. But we really need to find a way to have more office locations in different parts of the country so that persons don't have to travel all that way, or optimize the system, have some online appointment system, and then people just come in for their appointments and they know they will get through because appointments are set. And information systems can make this happen, because you have real people that you're serving. And if we're not serving them well, it costs the people money, it costs the organization money. And then we need to have a system that can fix that problem. All right, very good job, both presenters. We are going to briefly discuss, I asked you guys to look at the interactive slides from Dr. Ryan. And so I'd like to hear from you, at least 5 persons, one of the things that you learned from those interactive slides. So you were to look at the enterprise applications, and there were 4 of them that I listed on the Jamboard. However, I decided not to go into them because I wanted you to do that. All right, so can I get some volunteers? All right, let me start with, how many of you got to listen to his slides as yet? His interactive slides.
I was doing the first.
The first one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you get to finish it?
Not completely. I would say 80% there.
Okay. All right. Tell me, in that 80%, one thing that you remember from those slides.
Well, he were mainly talking about the TPS and the business intelligence system stuff that you were going over last class. And I believe I think the information system, I think that was the one that he was talking about, the TPS. It really discussed about the operational level that you like a person, an employee would use at a business, and how that is what that is the main underlying capabilities of that particular system. And then he further going to explain how in Belize itself, majority of the companies here uses that kind of system for the service that they provide.
All right, thank you, Shanali. Okay.
Shanika
Sorry,
Miss.
and Shanika, I'm sorry, I'm changing your name. Apologies. I should work at my response. I'm sorry. Okay, Karen. Let's hear from you.
Miss, I haven't reviewed it as yet.
Okay, not as yet. Anybody else
Mm.
got to review it? No. Okay, guys, you need to go over Dr. Ryan's slides because this will help you to do Forum 2. When I was listening to the second presentation, I also realized that it's perfect timing because she was proposing a solution to the problem that this system created. She looked at what the infrastructure was at that specific institution, and she was saying, okay, these are the things that are wrong and this is how it could be improved. That's basically what you'll be doing in your forum number 2. Tonight, I will be sharing the practical project number 2, and then I'll be splitting you guys into your project groups just to discuss it. Remember, practical projects are done in week 2, but I wanted to give you an early start on that project. But some people like to start their assignments early, right? You're actually going to be working on it next week, but I want you to be aware of it. So let me share that. Okay, I'm gonna ask Jalen to read the instructions for it nice and loud, please.
Practical project number 2, identifying management decisions and systems. Groups will select a manager from the University of Belize or any mid to large size local business. Your group will find a description of the manager's duties and responsibilities and gather information about what the manager does and the role he or she plays in the organization. Identify the organizational level and business function where this manager works. Make a list of the kinds of decisions this manager has to make and the kind of information the manager will need for those decisions. Currently, what information system, if any, is being used to help supply the information the manager requires to make decisions. In addition, based on your knowledge and what you have learned, suggest how information systems could supply information the manager needs to make decisions, or design a system that you believe the manager can use to help make better decisions. Prepare a 10 minutes presentation to present your findings.
Thank you, Jalen. So next week, you guys will be working on this, but tonight, all I'm asking you to do in your groups is to discuss a potential manager that you'd like to approach for this project. That's all you're discussing tonight. The instructions are on Moodle, so you can quickly go online and look for the instructions there when I break you into your groups.
Yes, I have a quick question.
Sure.
Okay, you see that survey that you shared that each and every one of us is supposed to gather like 10 to 20 or 30 people. So that's just any working persons, and we're supposed to create that because I know the link you shared is like if you're asking someone to do it, so you have to create one from scratch and then just send it out to the amount of people and get their response, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
But those persons must be from the same organization. That's the only difference.
Okay, so I just choose one company and have that amount of people do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
I think we're
Hello?
going breakout session. I don't know.
I
Hi.
don't even realize that we're in here.
Sorry, Shanika, I forgot to put you in your group. Let me see. You're in group 2, right?
Group 3.
Group 3?
Yes, ma'am, with Vonetta and Dominique and Martha and Tiana.
Okay. And then Shanily, let me see what group you're in.
Yeah. I am with, I don't even remember their name.
Oh boy.
Kun,
Oh,
Shanice,
you're in the
Shanice.
last group.
Yes.
That will be your
Shanice.
homework, to learn their names, or I'll send you to work on titles. That's 2. All right.
I'm still here though, miss.
It didn't send you the invite?
You sent me for group 2 though, so I decline it because I'm not group 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me put you. Okay. There.
Okay, there. Thank you.
Sure. And
Yes, and me as well. I'm in group 2.
you're in group 2 as well. Okay. All right. Just put you in your group.
Thank you.
Sure.
Oh, how you do that? Yes, miss.
Yes, miss. We just want to verify that we will record the presentation, right?
That's correct. Just like we did the first one.
Okay. All right.
Sure, no problem.
All right. Thank you, miss.
Recorded.
We can hear you, Shanily.
Oh gosh.
Why? We're hearing you, Gabriel.
Sorry, brothers.
Okay, I see most of you are back. In the chats a while ago, I shared a form that I'd like each group leader to fill out. And that form will allow me to set up appointments with you so that I can find out the status of your project, how it's going with the group. Like I said, I'd like to maintain contact with your group leaders so that they can keep the team informed. And if you need help with anything, the group leader will be the one who informs me so that I can offer assistance where necessary. Okay. So that schedule is for next week between Monday and Friday, and you can put in a time that works for you. Now, if there isn't one of those slots that corresponds with your free time, then still fill out the form, and you might be able to write in the comments a time that suits you. And if I'm available, then I will inform you. Okay. Anybody has a question? Yes.
Can you please reshare the form?
Sure. I'm just going to put it in the chat right now. On next week, when we meet, you will be given some time again to further discuss in your groups how you are going to go about doing the presentation. But I'm hoping that you were able to at least decide on a manager that you'd like to approach, who is going to do the approaching, etc. And it's just a quick interview. This is a benchmark presentation that you'll find on Moodle. Students did this in a previous year. It's just stating the name of the manager, what's their position, where do they work, how many years. And then their structure, organizational structure or the organogram, you can place that in and show us where the manager falls in all of that. What are their responsibilities? Just giving us a breakdown of what they do or what they're responsible for. What are their duties? And what kind of decisions they need to make. Remember, we're looking at information systems and how these types of information systems can inform managers and at different levels in the organization so that they can serve the organization efficiently, effectively, and allow for these business processes to flow without any mishaps. So there will be collaboration, coordination, and we should see success in the business because of that. So what kind of the decisions do they need to make? What kind of decisions are they responsible for? So this slide outlines all of that. And then speak briefly about the information system that that manager would be using to get those informed decisions from reports, etc. So here they're just listing two types of information systems or two systems that they're using, whether enterprise or information systems, and how those systems are helping this manager to make better decisions and improve business processes. Finally, you will be able to listen to the manager, get your information, but you must end with some suggestions. Your suggestions are for how the system can be improved or what can be improved. It might not necessarily be the system, but it could be the way things are being done in the organization. For this group, they didn't find any faults with the system, but they did say it relies on everyone doing their part. So sometimes the people are the problem, not always the system, right? And then you are just going to close with that. So this is just an example. Your presentation doesn't need to be identical, but these are the things we're looking for. We're looking for the organogram. We'd like to know what are the duties and responsibilities, what kind of decisions they need to make, and what suggestions you have for the system that you're going to speak about as well. All right, are there any questions? No?
Yes, Miss. Just
Okay, so Daniel and Diona, all right?
Miss, I just wanted to know if it was a PowerPoint presentation and not a video.
You mean for your practical project too?
I was referring to the I think it's the one you put us in the breakout rooms. I'm not sure which one that is.
Yes, that's practical project 2. You're doing both.
Okay.
You're preparing a PowerPoint and you're recording yourself presenting it, just like you did the last time. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Sure. Diona?
Yes, Miss. My question is, should we only interview the manager only, or can we interview the supervisor instead if we can't get in touch with the manager?
A supervisor is fine because they would be responsible for managing even a unit, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That would be fine.
Okay, just wanted to confirm.
Yes. Okay. I'm hoping that all of you were able to get access to the form. Ensure that your team leaders get access to this form so that I can find out how your group is doing and how I can assist you, just to set up those one-on-one appointments with you guys. I want to make sure that you are on top of things and that you do well in this course, but we must work together if that's going to happen. So this is me extending a branch to you guys, but I know many of you are busy and we have to work together despite how busy we are. All right, so that is it for this evening. Oh, Karen, I see your hand.
Yes, Miss, the form is only the group leader should fill it in, or if all the group members?
Just the group leader. If the group leader wasn't here for your group, then another member could fill it in. That's okay.
Okay, okay, Miss, because I was filling it in. Thank you.
Okay, sure, no problem.
I miss.
Yes.
And then for the meeting, you're only supposed to meet with the group leader or with the group leader and the members.
It's if your group can join you, that's fine. But if it's only the group leader, then that's fine as well.
Okay, thanks.
So you have a choice on that one. Any other questions? All right, so my question to you guys, what assignment is due on Sunday by midnight or 11:59?
Forum number 2.
Forum number 2. Okay, very good. And that means you also need to respond to 2 persons forum as well. All right, so forum number 2 is due this week, not practical project 2, only forum 2. All right, so you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and I hope you have a safe and wonderful weekend. And for the 10th, I hope you get some rest and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Okay, have a good night, everyone.
Good night. Likewise,
Yes, good night.
Good night.
Good night.